Good morning, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Monday morning, July 13th. We're looking at the last 6 days of the market profile of the SPY ETF here on Window Trader, showing you that just to get an idea of what's happening, what we're going to be looking at this morning. We're coming out of balance to the upside, which really isn't a surprise. Quick recap from last week, right? We had this balance. They tried to stretch it to the downside on Thursday, which they did, to get totally rejected back inside the balance. Well, Friday, we got above the balance and, more importantly, closed right above it or right at the top. So now here we are on a weekly gap to the upside. Bulls trying to take control, and then we'll go over a lot this morning. I'm also going to cover something with the triple Qs to go over something. So let's go over destinations and a game plan for this morning. So right now, with just over an hour to go, I'm just going to use yesterday's high as a downside destination. It looks like we are finally going to fill that gap from June 11th. It was over 600 points. Here we are a little over a month later, finally filling it. Now, here's an interesting thing. We have a perfect POC from June 10th at 319.95. I'm going to use that as an upside right now, even though we're trading a bit above it. But if we open above it, it then becomes a downside destination. So over a month later, and we might not even hit it yet, it might become a downside destination. Then above that, right now, we have our pre-market high of 320.51, and then two very important numbers, 322.39 daily high, and then the monthly high, last month's high of 323.41, which is the top of our 6 or 7 week balance, which is the next huge step for buyers and SPY to take. If they don't, all we're doing is getting to the top of a 6 or 7 week balance. For the downside, right now, my pre-market low is 318.41. We'll use that as our first downside destination. Then we're going to use Friday's high of 317.88. Below that, remember, we had a price probe. Remember, I said there's a lot of things here that the buyers put into place late on Friday to be levels where they are. Well, 317.46 is our price probe. We had the single prints, 316.98, get filled at 95. We had the price spike, I&J's high of 316.67. And then the second set of single prints, 316.17, get filled at 13. Both sets were very small, but boy, were those little nuances late in the day to tell you what was probably the odds of transpiring this morning. Right? Afternoon pullback low of 314.91. So what is the game plan for this morning? Well, again, we're attempting to break out of balance to the upside on a gap. Friday's high was 317.88. Right now, we're over $2 above it. Now, gap rules apply. They do to a point. There's not much above us. I said if we get above this balance, right, we have pretty much of a void above us. So I think that 13 wide POC is going to become a visual spot in an area that we trade at. I would think so. I would like to see the market pull back just a bit so my risk reward is better, right? I mean, there's nothing really above us for another $2 from where we're trading. However, that doesn't mean we can't get an inventory adjustment before that, back down a little bit. So the opening is going to be very important, right? We talk about the opening, how when we don't see it again, just like on Friday, after 2 time frames, never saw it again, and then just traded higher the whole day. Well, today, do we get above it and never see it again, or do we get below it and never see it again and come down and fill the gap? Those will be important things as to whether I take a call play right away. There is no short play for me right now. Right now, there's no short play. I would be looking to get long, but I would like to get long at a little better risk reward versus the gap size. Okay? So that's, again, early, very early plays. If you're in CamelbackTrading.org's voice channel room, you will see up to the second updates right before the market opens what I'm looking to do, what I'm looking to trade. Right now, I've gone to trading the expirations, the nearest expiration, so I'll be trading today's expirations. Early on, I'll be buying the 318 calls versus the gap fill, and I'd be buying the 323 puts versus last month's high. Those are the two things I'll be trading. They do change throughout the day. Now, let's go to the charts. So monthly, one time framing up 2 months, right? We firmly above March's high, which was our $95 range, which we were trying to break out of forever. We did it last month, but closed back in it. Well, now we're above it. So this month's goal is to get above last month's high of 323.41. If you do, then you have the all-time highs in sight. Very healthy. Weekly, yes, we closed above this 3-week balance high. Very impressive. Nice hammer. Now the next goal, though, is 323.41. If we can't get accepted above that, all we are is in a 7-week balance. A huge one, but a 7-week balance. So it's going to be important. Two things are important. To make sure we stay above the last 3 weeks balance, right? We don't want to gap higher, fail, fade, come back in and get accepted into here, right? You don't want to see that. And you don't want to see it get up to the top of this balance and fail either. If you get above this and get accepted, there's one big gap, and it's a big one, holding us between the all-time high. And then on the daily, again, we are coming out of a 6-day balance to the upside. We are finally filling this gap from over a month ago. So now you're inside this 4-day balance. Balance rules will always apply, right? When you're in balance. So even though you're coming out of a balance, we're going into another one. So the goal will be to get above 323.41 and to stay above 317.16, right? All baby steps. You can't get to this gap until you get above here. Very important. Now, I have to show you the triple Qs because NASDAQ's becoming a huge issue as far as what's going on in the market. And I'm going to show you the weekly. You've heard me say this a million times. Markets do not go bull-bear. Took me a long time to understand that, right? They go bull, balance, continue bull, or bull, balance, roll over to bear. This is so important because I can't imagine how many people have gotten wrecked attempting to short both the NASDAQ and all those others, and everything in the NASDAQ, your Teslas, Apple, Amazon, Google, you name it. They listen to people who just scream things that sell will come and things of that nature, whereas you need to be listening to people who give you both sides of the equation, and if this happens, then we'll see this, or if this happens, you'll see that. The Daltons, window traders, shadow traders of the world. I'd like to include myself in them. Those are very, very excellent traders. So I won't put myself in the categories as far as what they are, but I still think I give you both sides of the market. Look at, and the reason I'm showing you the weekly, the NASDAQ, since our lows in March, for the most part, a one-time framing up 16 weeks. So what does that mean? That means we have not taken out the previous week's low. We did it once and closed inside the previous week's range. That was when the only time when we had balance. Now, there's 4 other times we've taken out the previous week's low, but we closed above that previous week's high, which is an outside week up, which is even more powerful than just one-time framing up. If you're a buyer, you just set yourself. We had a gap last week. Well, you could have set, if you're long anywhere down here, you set your stops either at the previous week's low or a little bit below it. You had a gap last week. You could have set it there. You're going to have another gap today. You could set it there. But as far as shorting it, right? Look at, here's an example. We did the same thing for the most part. September of 19 to the all-time high. Well, the previous all-time high. Now you're going to say, oh, wait. We went bull bear. No, you didn't. You went bull. You did take out the previous week's high, but closed well within it. So that's some balance. But this is all balance here. Yeah, you missed. Okay, wow, I missed, 237 to 198. I missed $39 on the downside. Yeah, you did. However, that happened in 1 week. That's number one. Number two, you had every opportunity in the world the next week because now we're in balance, right? You had an inside week. Forget about getting the top of it. Even if you got the middle, or even if you took the inside week to the downside, right? 202.91, so 203, and we got down to 165. That's still a $38 move. So even though you missed $30-something in 1 week, well, you had another $38 over the next 3 weeks. That's a hell of a lot more confirmation to take a short than to take the short up here. That's what I'm talking about up here. I don't care if I miss. I've never traded the triple Qs, but I am going to take a trade at some point. Markets don't go bull bear. Why would you fight this the whole way up? Let it come into balance, and then after balance, if it continues bull, you continue to watch it, or if it rolls over to bear, then you can take a trade to see what we're going to get as far as balance to the downside. It's really simple. Trading is not simple, but using common sense is. Anyway, the bottom line with this is, at some point, the way you see how we're trading now in the SPY, and the SPY is so much different. Look at the weekly in the SPY. Nasdaq's going straight up. Look at the balance. We're finally attempting to come out of balance. One of two things is going to happen here. We are going to come out of balance and go for an all-time high. And maybe Nasdaq continues higher. But at some point, Nasdaq's going to roll and go to balance as we continue to go higher to catch up to it. Or Nasdaq's going to go to balance. We're going to continue up, maybe make a new high, but not get the kind of acceleration that Nasdaq got. And then Nasdaq's going to roll over and come back down to us. I don't know which one it is. Nobody knows which one it is. But let market-generated information tell you which one it's going to be at some point. I know it's a little longer, but everybody's been looking at this. It's very important. We have Fed speakers on the docket all week, 2 today. It's like they go on their little parade and just talk all day. Good luck trading today. Have a great day. Come check us out at camelbacktrading.org, and we'll recap at 4 p.m.